Joining us now is someone who I was actually on Fox News channel with many years ago. Well, not many, but many. Keli Goff, political commentator, writer for theroot.com and the Huffington Post, joins us. Hey, Keli, how are you?
I'm good. I was about to not stay on this call, though, if you added another mini in there. I was about to say, how old do you think I am? Many years ago.
No, I wasn't. Well, I don't want to date myself either. I mean that literally and figuratively. But anyway, welcome to the show. It's good to have you. So
it's good to be here. And can I just start by saying I'm so relieved that was not your intro to the show, because I was thinking, oh, this is going to be tough going. If this is the show I'm about to be on, then this is going to be tough going. I'm very relieved to hear that wasn't your co-host or co-hostess.
And you know what? I was going to start with a cut from Kathleen Sebelius, but I just did that all in the previous hour. And when I'm looking at your columns, recent columns, I am looking at 5 ways Obamacare benefits African American women. But I'm also looking at something you wrote that was at Huffington Post, I believe, or somewhere else. But then I'm looking at the Root, and it says you got 5 things you wish Michelle Obama would say in a second term, now that nobody's worried about re-election campaigns.
Right.
And one of them, I think it might have been 3, I don't remember, or whatever. Maybe it was 1. Yeah,
but number 1 on the list.
Number 1 on the list was you wanted to stand up there and say that a lot of criticism of my husband is racist.
Yes. Not all.
What makes you believe that a lot of criticism? So what does a lot mean? 50% or more would mean a lot to me.
Well, Steve, let's be real. The reason I'm a writer is because I'm not good at math. So let's start there. Because everyone knows that's common sense. It's why we can't get a balanced budget. People go into politics or journalism because they're not good at math and can't get a job in business. So, but that being said, I don't know that I would assign a percentage to it. I would say that it's more than Republicans want to admit and probably less than Democrats think that it is.
All right, but what makes you think that? I mean, do you?
I have a bunch of links in that column and all my other columns. This has actually been sort of my beat for the last couple of months because a lot of people don't know this about me. I actually am a registered independent. So my dream and my hope is that one day I will see an election in which I feel like I have a real choice. And one of the things I've been following a lot, though, this last year in particular, is it's like Republicans have had an insane amount of foot and mouth disease that seems to have to do with race. And so you had the Don Young racial slur about Hispanics. You had the fried chicken joke. You had the white supremacist who used to work for Rand Paul. You had the white supremacist who was supporting Nikki Haley. It's been like an endless apology tour, and I'm constantly on the phone with the Republican National Committee where they're constantly sending me apology statements for me to publish, and I always do, saying, we don't support what this latest Yahoo said in Illinois about Erica Harold, who's a fabulous multiracial Republican GOP candidate, and even she had to deal with racist comments.
Well, what does that have to do with what does that have to do with criticism directed at Barack Obama? First, let me also say. Wait, Keli, one second. Let me also say.
Okay.
I could pull out remarks from the left, especially the media and Democrats, who now talk about old white guys in a derogatory fashion. The optic of old white men, talking about Susan Rice is not good. Old white guys is now an accepted derogatory term, and if I ever said old black guys derogatorily, then I'd be fired. So I just want you to know it's out there on the left, and I don't believe that there are racists on the left, there are racists on the right. But do you remember a guy named Bill Clinton who was impeached? I think he was white.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, well, he was white.
Well, okay.
He is white.
I was going to say I didn't know he tanned. I didn't know he switched colors. He said he was once
But
white.
I mean, what evidence do you have that the criticism based on leveled against a guy who's the most radically leftist president we've ever had in this country, who has problems with the Constitution, who despises our history, that's racial in nature?
I think we need to go back on Fox because I think we need Gretchen and Steve to help moderate this.
No, but go ahead, answer. I'd love to hear where your evidence is.
Yeah, well, no, I actually put it, though, in several of my columns, which are right up on my Facebook page right now as we speak, actually, where I actually chronicle the list of racist comments and incidents that have happened this year. And then I have a lovely New York Magazine slideshow where they had a bunch of additional racist comments that came from Republican elected officials, such as the one who referred to the president as that boy, which is a derogatory term, and then other people who have made jokes about him being, Kenyan, and about us eating lots of fried chicken and watermelon and the watermelon patch. And these were Republican elected officials.
Really?
These were not. Yes, I have
fried chicken and watermelon. Okay, well,
watermelon patch, actually.
You sure you're not?
They they had a watermelon patch.
You're sure you're not going back to the cartoons about Condoleezza Rice by liberals calling her Aunt Jemima and I don't know nothing about birthing no babies to George Bush. You're sure you're not talking about that?
I don't recall it, but I have. If you want to send me those slideshows, because I will happily. I have it posted on.
You don't know about that?
No, I don't.
Oh, well, you should go back to the confirmation hearings of Condoleezza Rice and see how she was portrayed by the left as Aunt Jemima.
Part of this, Steve, might be because I'm younger than you. As we
no, I know that, but I think if you want, but I think you have to put things in historical perspective. You could pick out 100.
I'm so glad you said that, because that's a perfect point of what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Is that the standard is going to be tougher for Republicans no matter what you say, because for Republicans it will always look like cherry-picking rare instances of racism, because you're always going to be up against the party that ultimately elected a black man as president, who is already looking less racist than yours by default. And then when you add on top of that some of the racist rhetoric that I just have written about in my column, such as the people shouting at the president, "Bye bye black sheep," people.
Well, I don't know who shouted "Bye bye black sheep" at the president.
So when the president was down in Florida making the case for Obamacare last month, a bunch of Tea Party protesters stood outside and they held up really racist signs. This is all in my column.
Okay. Are you aware of that? Well, I also think it's important that what you just said about the Republican Party, Kelly, you need to know the history of the Republican Party.
Well, right,
it was wait a second. It was people like Al Gore. Kelly. It was people like Al Gore's father.
No, it's Strom Thurmond.
Kelly. It was. Could you bring it down for a second, because I got to have a conversation here. You admitted that you're younger than me, and you say that's a reason for not knowing even as far back as the confirmation hearings for Condoleezza Rice. And what the left did to her, what the left does to what they're doing to Carson, what they've did to Michael Steele, throwing Oreo cookies at him, what they say about anybody, any woman, Hispanic or black, who's not conservative. It's racism at its worst. But Kelly, the Republican Party, it was the party of Al Gore's father and the Democrats in the South that tried to block civil rights. It was the Republicans in greater percentages that voted for civil rights legislation. Do you not know that history either?
Actually a lie. Strom Thurmond and Jesse Helms were both registered Democrats who left the party over the Civil Rights Act. So what you just said is actually completely wrong.
Really? So wait. So
are you at a computer? Because you can pull up this thing called Google.
Kelly, what I said is completely wrong. That more Republicans in greater percentage voted for the Civil Rights Act than Democrats. That Al Gore's father filibustered the Civil Rights Act and, of course, voted against it with many other Democrats while the Republicans got it passed. All that is wrong?
No, that's not true. There were Southern Democrats who left the party
Kelly,
and became
I tell you what, you're welcome back
like
anytime, but I'm up against a hard break. You're welcome back anytime. That's Keli Goff. But please do some history reading. For instance, all the way back to the confirmation hearings of Condoleezza Rice, which must be about 8 years ago. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and Radio.